the public. So I'll just say again, welcome everyone. Our meeting is starting a little late. We have a full crowd in the room and we would have liked to have had more space. Elsie Gibbons is the place where this Council of Mayors meets. When we know in advance, we can vote on it. For example, if there was a need for a big meeting in November, we could vote tonight on moving it to another space. So we will also, we know most of you are here about one particular item, and so we will handle this item as soon as we can so that you won't be standing for a long time. But my insight on the size of the room is that this renovation took place when the public meetings were held in the afternoon. And since 2017, they've been held in the evening. And I think more people can usually attend in the meeting in the evening. So we're going to begin. Item number 1, the opening and attendance. I need a resolution to open the TNO meeting, moved by Councillor Orr. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Number 2, just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded on Facebook Live, and it will be available on our website by tomorrow. Number 3, the declaration, use of language of your choice. Going to read it out now, and it will also be the reading for our public meeting, which follows. Je rappelle l'importance pour les membres du conseil régional et les autres participants à la séance de s'exprimer librement dans la langue de leur choix. Au besoin, il y aura la présence sur place d'une ressource de la MRC pour assurer une traduction. I'd like to reiterate the importance for regional council members and other participants in the sitting to express themselves freely in the language of their choice. If necessary, a resource of the MRC will be available to ensure translation. And number 4, the statement by the warden, the déclaration de la préfète. Nous sommes élus par les gens du Pontiac pour les représenter au meilleur de nos capacités. Ils s'attendent à ce que nous menions nos réunions d'une manière professionnelle. J'écouterai très attentivement les débats et les discussions de cette réunion et si j'entends des paroles négatives ou des critiques à l'égard de quelqu'un d'autre, j'arrêterai la réunion et demanderai à cette personne de s'excuser. Si cette personne refuse de s'excuser, je lui demanderai de quitter la salle. Je vous remercie. We are elected by the people of the Pontiac to represent them to the best of our ability. They expect us to conduct our meetings in a professional and business-like manner. I will be listening very carefully to the debate and discussion in this meeting, and if I hear any words of negativity or criticism of anyone else, I will stop the meeting and ask that person to apologize. If the person refuses to apologize, I will ask them to leave the room. Thank you. And je vais maintenant demander à Madame Lesage, DG et greffière trésorière, de lire un extrait du Code municipal du Québec, soit l'article 159. I will now turn to Ms. Lesage, DG and Clerk Treasurer, who will be reading an excerpt from the Municipal Code of Quebec, namely Section 159.
Le président du conseil maintient l'ordre et le décorum et décide les questions d'ordre, sauf appel au conseil. Il peut ordonner l'expulsion de l'endroit où se tient une séance du conseil de toute personne qui en trouble l'ordre. The officer presiding over the sitting of the council maintains order and decorum and decides questions of order, saving appeal to council. He may order that any person disturbing a sitting of the council be removed from the place where the sitting is held.
Thank you. Now we'll need a resolution for the reading and adoption of the agenda, and it's been brought to my attention that we have a few items to add. We have an item on sales for taxes, another item. Oh, sorry, this is TNO. Next, we're going to add some things to the agenda. And I will ask, is there anyone who'd like to add something to the TNO agenda? No? Okay, could I have a resolution then to read and adopt the agenda? Thank you, Councillor Kelly. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Number 6, are there any declarations of conflict of interest on this agenda? Okay, seeing none. Number 7, the adoption of the minutes of the last sitting. I need a resolution moved by Councillor Walsh. All those in favor, please put up your hands. If you're voting, thank you. And opposed? And that carries. Number 8, public question period concerning the TNO agenda. Are there any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Number 9, finances. Annie Viancourt. For accounts paid, and we'll need a resolution.
Good evening, everyone. So for the TNO this month, we have a total of $28,714.77 in expenses. Most of that went to road maintenance for almost $23,000. We also had gas for vehicles and some signage.
Thank you. Any questions for Annie on that? Okay, no questions. Could I have someone move the resolution moved by Councillor Godin? All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Number 10, could I have a resolution to close the sitting? Moved by Councillor Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed? And the sitting is closed. Thank you. Now we go on to our public meeting of October 16th. Could I have a resolution to open, and the attendance sheet has gone around, to open? Mayor Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Number 2, just to remind you that this meeting is being recorded on Facebook Live, and it will be available on our website tomorrow. I've already read the language of your choice, utilisation de la langue de son choix, and also the declaration of the warden. So now, number 5, we're going to the reading and adoption of the agenda. So to begin with, yes. Okay, that's one that you would like to add. What we're going to do is we're going to hear first about all of the additions, and then we can vote, one at a time, because it involves amending the agenda. All right, number 2 would be the sales for taxes that you've brought our attention to. Okay. Where would you like to add these items? We'll see first, okay? And then the second one, another sales for taxes. Can you say which municipalities? Portage both, okay. And then an item to do with agri-sever. Okay. And is that everything that you need to add? The agenda? Yeah, okay, thank you. And then Jennifer, you have an item? The Waste Management Committee? Okay, thank you. All right, so are there any other items that anyone would like to add to the agenda? Okay, so we have 5 items. So we'll begin, I guess, with the 2 sales for taxes. I guess they're time sensitive from Portage. All those in favor of, what I'm trying to do is take them individually so we can vote on what we're adding to the agenda, okay? So first of all, to add the 2 items for sales for taxes, which is Portage, to our agenda, which will be an amendment. All those in favor of adding those? Opposed? And they will be added. 12.2.6, 12.2.7. Thank you. All right, the addition of agri-sever to amend the agenda, adding that. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Thank you. Then the item on Elaine A. Kaywood to amend the agenda by tabling that bylaw. All those in favor? Yes. Yes, certainly. It's a good idea to have some discussion. Would you like to begin?
Sure. So I guess I'll stand. Our mayor here would like to add a resolution with regards, or a motion with regards to amending the current bylaw for removing the comparative factor completely. Now, I really like to say first that congratulations to the people who worked so hard on this issue, who did all the legwork on it, and did fantastic work bringing this to our attention. I think it's a step forward. However, the way it's currently written, I cannot. I will be voting on the negative.
Any other people around the table that would like to? There's other microphones. You can just turn them on.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. And of course, we always want to support our fellow members. And however, the bylaw that was presented, there needs to be so much more work and so much more. It has to be much more put into it so that we know what we're voting on. We are talking to, the staff is talking to our MRC lawyers. We're making sure that everything is going to be, that we are doing the right thing. We are elected by the people to do the right thing, and that's what we want to do tonight. So we want to make sure that what we're doing is right. And patience and understanding is what we're asking from you. So tonight, I won't be supporting to add that onto the agenda. Thank you.
Any other mayors like to speak? For Warden Armstrong.
Hi, my name is Sandra Armstrong. I do agree with Mayor Spence and Mayor Larivière on what we're doing right now. There's a committee, because all of you that worked so hard brought this to the attention of the MRC. We do believe in what you are asking, but we need to be very sure of the way we do it. Do we need to make bylaws at the MRC to protect that for never to make it happen again? So we need to take our time to work on that. The committee is already working on stuff. We had a budget meeting last Friday. There's good ideas that came up that could help Aileen Kaywood and all the other 17 municipalities on it. So I'm asking the same thing as Mayor Larivière, be patient. You might not believe in us right now, but I do try to trust us on what we're doing. We are working on this, and we're not forgetting Aileen Kaywood. Thank you.
Go ahead.
It's Jennifer Quayle from Otter Lake. I totally agree with what you've put forward in terms of the system being unfair. The current process with the use of the comparative factor is really unfair, and it happened to you, and it can happen to any other municipality at any given point. So my issue is that I think we have yet, this table of mayors is yet to hear from the finance committee, which is tasked with studying it more in depth. I think there are a few options that we have to consider so that we make the right decision to make it the fairest way possible going forward. So that's why I'm hesitant to pass a motion tonight. I really prefer that we take a little bit more time and hear back from the finance committee on our options.
Thank you. Any other mayors like to speak? Mayor Godin from Waltham.
Odie from Waltham. I did not want to vote tonight because we don't know what we're voting on. We're behind you and we're going to vote for the good, but we won't add it to the agenda because that forces us to vote on something we don't understand yet. But the information is coming. Don't want you to think we're against you. We're not.
Karen. Mayor Kelly from Thorn.
Hi, this is Mayor Kelly from Thorn. I know how everybody's feeling because I live on the side of the lake and mine went up drastically too. And I understand how everybody's feeling. I don't like the idea of having to pay higher taxes, and if there was some way we could get around it, would be great. But as we're right now in a discussion for Elan Kaywood, and I understand it's very, very tricky to get everything down pat no matter what. We have to talk to lawyers, we have to talk to financial people, you name it. We cannot just take ordinary paper and automatically assume everybody knows what they're talking about. Everybody here in this room, I'm sure, is hurting like whatever, I won't swear, mainly because we're all doing it. I know Thorn got a hell of a shot, and I know not as bad as Elan Kaywood, but you know, and it's gonna hurt. So we can always hope that as we work towards it, as our lawyers come down the pipeline, and also the MRC lawyers and the staff here at the MRC, we'll find out the answer. It might be a little bit slower than we would like, but it is coming.
Thank you, Mayor Kelly. Anyone else want to add to the discussion?
Well, I will say something.
Okay, Doris
Uh,
Ranger from Sheenborough.
from
Mayor
Sheenborough.
Ranger.
Yes, we're a small municipality, probably even smaller, and we certainly feel the position that Carl is in. It's not a good position at all, and it's not a good feeling. I sympathize with the residents, and our assessment is always up, up, up. And right now, I would not be prepared to vote. I would like to see more information. Thank you.
Mayor Donny Gagnon.
Yeah,
Chichester.
Donald Gagnon, Chichester. Yeah, I'd like to state that I was in that position a couple years ago, and we've been fighting with, not fighting, but working with the MRC. And I do say that we are working on solutions. We have some, we just have to get them clarified and see which direction, but definitely we also, we notified our residents too that we put an ad in saying that we are lowering the mill rate. We have to cushion, but everybody's seen a big increase in their valuations. Every municipality that I've been going through, and there's quite a increases. So anyway, that's so from my point of view right now, we have to look at our solutions and come up with something in the near future. Thank you.
Bill McCleary, Shawville.
Carl, we support you. As everybody else has said, we're just not prepared to vote on stuff tonight without all information. It happened to Donnie a couple of years ago. We dragged our feet. We thought it was a one-time thing. We won't drag our feet now. We'll get it right.
Anyone else? Okay, I will just, again, I'd like to give all the credit to the community of Elena Kaywood, Carl Mayer, Isabel, DG, Sydney Squiddy. I know also that Mona, who's here in the audience as well, has been the pro mayor, and former mayor, Mr. Squiddy. Lot of, we've never had an issue that at FQM received as much attention, and really, you know, to have the premier involved, Andrea Laferrade, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and I know that you've got a meeting with her, and understand some functionaries that work with her are coming to look at properties in Elena Kaywood, and Jacques Demers from the FQM. So I think what your municipality has done is you've really championed this, and Guy, you were there as well, working hard in Quebec City. You've really you've taken the torch, and you have really brought to their attention that there are inequities, that when you're in a wilderness nature area, that especially after COVID, everybody wants to move here. And with that, they're bringing much greater spending power. And what I want to say on behalf of the people around this table who all care very much about everybody in the Pontiac No one wants to see any resident, especially someone on limited income or seniors, have to leave their homes. We do not want anybody to have to leave Pontiac because, up to this point, it's been a great place to live because the taxes have been reasonable and services and everything else. And so we want to keep it that way. And the patience that everyone is asking for, I'm also going to ask you for that. And just know that this issue is in our hearts, in our minds. We had a great budget committee meeting last Friday where we're not really at liberty to share, but it's something that you're going to feel is a big step in the right direction. And, even down to how shares are possibly divided. And another thing is, as you know, the assessments are being done here, there, every 3 years. In another municipality, it's every 3 years, but never the same time. And we're looking at, this would be the first bylaw. We're looking at everything. Everything is on the table. And we hope that this will be soon. And by November, we'll know a lot more. Maybe we'll be in a position to vote on something. But anyways, we haven't heard from every single mayor, so we should, unless anyone else would like to speak, I think we should call the vote on whether we will be adding this to the agenda tonight. And it doesn't mean, by the way, for question period that you can't still speak on it. You still can. So I'll call the vote then. All those in favor of adding this item to the agenda tonight? All those in favor? Carl? So it should be recorded that Carl Mayer has voted to have this in the minutes added. And for those opposed, is it everyone else? Okay, so unfortunately that will not be added to the agenda tonight. We have the item on waste management, the Waste Management Committee that Jennifer Quayle has asked to add. So any discussion on that? All those in favor of adding it to the agenda? Okay, we can have a discussion, sure. Well, actually, we don't. If it looks like you've got a majority at this point, the discussion should come when we deal with the item, Jennifer. We're just adding it to the agenda. So for all those that are in favor of adding it to the agenda, okay, and opposed, and that carries. So we will add that to the agenda. 18.3. Okay, so with the additions then of 12.2.6, 12.2.7, 15.7, and 18.3, this will be the agenda as amended. Could I have someone move the agenda as amended? Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor of the agenda as amended? All those opposed? Carl is recorded in opposition because you are not happy about your item, and that's understandable. So that carries the agenda as amended. So now we'll go to the agenda. And I'm going to ask the question number 6. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest on this agenda? Seeing none, we'll go on to the adoption of the minutes of the last sitting in September. We need a resolution moved by Mayor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Number 8. The reconnaissance. Oh, yes, this is a special presentation. We're delighted. I think we need to have, and is Emma in the room? Okay, so I'll just stand up and say we've invited, there was a wonderful recognition, just stand right here, please. Wonderful recognition given in Quebec City, and I learned about it from our pro warden, Sandra Armstrong, who contacted me and told me that not only do we have students from Mansfield, but actually across the Pontiac. And the mayors all know that we, fortunately, we're really the first in Quebec to have done this under the leadership of Julian Gagnon and Martin Bertrand and Mr. Plo. What's your first name? Richard Plo. And Gabby Perret, exactly, at OSSA. They began a training of, partly because we need to have more volunteer fire people, And so they went to the high schools and they wondered who would be interested. And so they began the training, and many of us attended some of these trainings, and it's amazing, just the skill and ability. So this was entered into a contest, is that correct? Or that is how the recognition came about. It was the Gala Force Avenir, and the prix was the Coupe de Coeur, which was the favorite out of all of the various, projects that were being considered. And so the list of the students from Pompier 1 SSA are Antoine Lagarde. So is that you, Antoine? That's your brother, okay. So if any of these other people are here, please let me know. Ariel Dennis, Aiden Landlois, Donovan Levesque, Emma Rochon, right here, holding the trophy, Felix Rive, Jean-Michel Landry, Caden Levesque, Colton LeMay, Malaika Segobatso, Marc-Antoine Lariviere, Megan Fortin, Samuel Harrington, Megan, dear Megan. Megan, thank you, Megan Fortin, Samuel Harrington, Talira Sevar, William Landry, and Xavier Lagarde. That's you. Wonderful. Yeah, Xavier. So we're so proud of the recognition that you received, and I want to give you each a chance to say a few words. Maybe just, how about, not to put you on the spot, Hi, Kim. I know your mom's right here. Did you get a picture? Okay, super. So anyways, what I would like to do is just have you tell us what the experience of taking your course was. That would be something you could speak, and in French or English, whichever's easiest for you, and maybe what it felt like to get the award.
Well, I started the program because my father is a firefighter, and it just felt so right to me to do it. And the experience is really incredible. It's honestly, you make friendships with people you weren't friends with. You work together in a team. You get stronger every day, every time you practice. Honestly, I hope the program keeps going throughout the years and more people join.
C'était vraiment fun de faire le cours, puis il manquait beaucoup de pompiers à l'île. Puis j'ai décidé de faire le cours avec mon frère. Puis on l'a créé comme une famille, tout le monde. C'était vraiment amusant de cœur.
Martin? Martin?
J'aimerais commencer par dire, on a quoi d'être très fiers ici dans le Pontiac. C'est grâce à vos initiatives que tout ceci a commencé. Et puis, on a vraiment créé, je pense, un vent de changement à travers le Québec au complet. Lorsqu'on a reçu le prix Coup de cœur, il y a beaucoup de gens qui ont approché nos deux jeunes pompières qui étaient avec nous. Et puis, ils ont inspiré beaucoup de gens à travers la province du Québec. On ne sera peut-être plus les seuls à le faire. Je souhaite qu'on va faire des tirs un peu partout à travers le Québec, incluant une cohorte anglophone ici dans le Pontiac dans un avenir très rapproché. Mais en même temps, moi, je suis ici avec beaucoup de fierté personnelle. Je travaille avec ces jeunes-là depuis le début. Ils ont grandi, ils ont relevé beaucoup de défis. La motivation, comme tout le monde, c'est pas toujours facile. Par contre, je peux vous dire que ils me font vivre beaucoup d'émotions agréables, très le fun en pompier, et ça me permet à moi aussi de devenir beaucoup plus motivé envers mon rôle de pompier avec les défis qu'on connaît tout le monde dans nos municipalités, dans nos petites régions, etc. Donc, j'aimerais ça dire merci. Puis, j'étais un papa très fier, on va dire, lorsque nous avons reçu le prix Coup de cœur à Force Avenir, directement des mains d'une des des grandes dames de la politique, Pauline Marois. C'était de quoi être vraiment, vraiment fier. Donc, I'd like to say it's with we all can be very, very proud of ourselves for what we accomplished so far, of starting this course, being visionaries here at the MRC, and then bring it to different people who could make this happen. We are still the only ones in Quebec doing this, and I can tell you when we received the Public Choice Award last week, a lot of people came to talk to the girls and were saying they want to do this in their own regions as well, because shortage of firefighters is a problem that we all have to work together to try to solve, and we can do this all around in Quebec, including hopefully a very near future an English cohort of this course here in the Pontiac as well. So hopefully that will be number 2 in Quebec, is what we're hoping. Well, oddly enough, the way it works right now is we're able to do it because it's part of the CSHBO, but also it is not part of the CSHBO. We're through you guys here at the MRC. It's a special contract that we have, and we found a way to do it. I was hearing people talking about different solutions a while ago. You know, we found a solution to make this happen. So it is. I was very proud when they stepped on stage and we received this award. It has not been easy. The challenge is not finished. We still have to go all the way to graduation in June, where we're going to have a fully certified firefighter once. I will, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you to all the mayors and the municipalities that went ahead and believed in the program. It has not been easy. The challenge is not done. I know there's certain municipalities where they are just starting right now in the fire halls. They need your help to keep the motivation going, to get the practices, more time in the field, transfer of knowledge from the firefighters that have been in the municipalities for so long. You know, they are more advanced than the new firefighters that are in the halls right now that are just starting without the courses. And I can tell you, they have a big heart and they work really hard.
Nous aimerions juste remercier la communauté parce que nous ne serions pas ici sans vous. Nous avons eu beaucoup de support de vous, donc merci beaucoup.
Nous sommes très fiers. And I would like to say the Pontiac is in good hands. We know that with the growing numbers, the interest for firefighting, this is going to keep our region safe. So thank you again for all the volunteer work, the hard work that our firefighters and people here at MRC. Yes, and Martin, I mean, you've always been a leader with the youth, taking them mountain climbing. You know, how did you get to Parliament Hill? You skied. Yeah, they skied to cross-country skied. Exactly. So thank you very much for coming tonight. It's a real pleasure on behalf of the Council of Mayors. We're very proud of you. And I wondered if Kim could take a quick picture, Kim, just so that we can put it on the MRC website. Are there more here tonight, or just you guys? Okay. So come in close and hold your Yes.
Yeah, so Julien Gagnon and Richard here do meetings with the Service Sécurité Incendie, the public committee. So this is something that needs to be adopted every year. I don't know the stats myself. They do fluctuate a lot. I think what's been really going up is the price of the damage of the different fires. I think it's been going up. I think there's less fires, but those stats you could definitely look up. We can get back to with Julien. He can send you the information for sure.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you, everyone. Keep up your great work. Thanks for coming tonight. You're welcome. Okay, I have the number 9, Warden's Report. Had a meeting with Connexion Fib Pékinock. Had a meeting with Judy Spence concerning the radon meeting November 2nd that we're collaborating with. FQM, many of us were there, September 25th to 28th in Quebec. I attended the Fall Fest at the Pentecostal Church in Campbell's Bay. And I was at an MRC OHP meeting concerning the 121 doors that we have of affordable housing and ways that we can work together and expand it in other municipalities. That meeting was with Rochelle from MRC and Debbie Laporte, Michelle Laporte, and Sherry Ann Doyle. Sontride cabinet meeting, the MRC Pontiac Sontride breakfast, which we were all involved in, and really, again, it was a great success, raised $9,700 for the Sontride Outaouais, which benefits our 7 organizations that desperately need the help that they receive. Went to the opening of the ZEC Rapide des Joachins with Mayoress Lucie Rivet-Paquette and Andre Fortin. They have a beautiful new building up there now. And Lucy, once again, provided an amazing lunch. She's a great cook, and I don't know where you find the time for that. Thank you, Lucy. Went to the opening of Oktoberfest, and Karen Kelly was also there, our mayor. And I volunteered the next day at the Oktoberfest, meeting with the new PDG de Tourisme Outaouais, Geneviève Latulippe, with Stephanie Hebert and our DG, Kim Lesage. The Renewable Energy Committee, preparation for plenary, our plenary committee, meeting with Maude, the mayoress of Gatineau, to discuss our mutual priorities. Budget committee, attended the Caribou Strategy State of Situation with Community Forests meeting yesterday. That's an FQM meeting committee. And then met with Anne Bertrand from the CLSC board. So that concludes my report. Any questions? We'll go on now to number 10. This is the time where we pass the microphone around to all the mayors at the table. They talk about any announcements or events in their municipalities.
Good evening again, everybody. Corey Spence, Maire Élus Allumettes. So just so everyone knows, the Pontiac Genealogy Society that typically meets Fridays at the Regional Gallery in Chapel will be moving to the Farmers Market on Friday, 2 to 4. You can find them there, not too far down the road. So just ask around. Somebody in the locale will certainly help you out. As well as, again, the Farmer Market is still operating throughout the fall and into the winter. Please go Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. And Centennial Park. So we invite everybody to go down and take a look at the progress that's happening at Centennial Park in Chapel. Lots of new things going on there. That's pretty exciting. And lastly, for parents and players, registration is happening tonight at the arena. So if you're here or listening, you got a half an hour before it closes. So get to the arena. Bye.
Carl Mary, Lehman Kaywood. We'll have a Remembrance Day ceremony on the 11th at Henry Park.
Is it at 11 a.m. on the 11th?
Suzanne Dubeau-Pilon, Campbell's Bay. Not a whole lot happening, but you may notice we're replacing all our ballpark fencing due to grants we got. So we're just kind of got into that and be going on till the end of November.
I heard a story about that fencing that it came from the Smurfit mill. So probably a good time to be replacing it.
Yes, for sure.
Pauline Larvier, Mayor of Litchfield. Just to let everyone know that the municipal halt will be closing at the end of October. The splash pad is no longer in function, and also the repairs on Hayes Road, which is a road that is used a lot, which should be done by the end of October. Thank you.
Alain Gagnon, Bryson, assez tranquille à l'automne. Nous sommes en train de travailler sur le prochain événement, ce sera la parade de Noël. Je pourrais vous annoncer la date plus officielle. L'hiver s'en vient, on verra à quelle date on aura une patinoire. Merci.
It's Jennifer Quayle, Otter Lake. One announcement to make is that we received just a couple of weeks ago a report from a biologist who we had hired to look at 6 of our lakes in the municipality to just determine whether or not we have the Eurasian milfoil in those lakes. And 3 of them are clear, no sign of them at all. Clark Lake, Leslie Lake, which has the park, obviously, and Hughes Lake, they're fine. 3 others are not in such great shape. McQuaig Lake, Little Hughes, and Otter Lake, they have milfoil. So we have a committee working with councillors and members of lake associations or reps from each of those lakes. And our work over the next couple of months will be to develop strategies, plan of action for each one. Each one will take a little bit of different action. And we hope to bring recommendations then to the public for consultation in the spring. And the report, I must say, too, a copy of the report's available by contacting the municipality's office.
Lucie Rivet-Paquette, maire de Rapide-des-Joachins. Nous, les réparations de notre salle municipale s'en vient très bien. Nous allons avoir la date le début de décembre. On va être retourné dans nos locaux. Nous travaillons aussi sur la parade de Noël qui s'en vient très bien. Ça va se faire à la Maison des Jeunes cette année à cause que nos locaux, on ne peut pas rentrer dedans. C'est à peu près tout. Oh, puis dans le splash pad, on a fermé l'eau. C'est fermé pour l'hiver.
Bill from Shawville. I have a counselor that religiously listens to these meetings, and he's telling me that people with soft voices are very hard to hear. So I'll just remind everybody to try and speak up a little bit, and hopefully it works. We need some new equipment. We're looking into it. Don't worry, it's going to come again. Be patient. Like I asked a while ago about the tax situation. Give us a break. There's a street market, Shawville, 10 to 4. Main Street's closed from Value Mart to Shawville Shoes. Lots of handicrafts, pickles, jams, etc. Maybe some freeze-dried stuff. Maybe not. She's in chapel. The rink is in full operation. Our minor hockey day is October 26th. There'll be barbecue, and I hear even a bar, which doesn't seem right for minor hockey, but anyway. And we also have a Remembrance Day service on the 11th at 11.
Bonjour, mon nom est Sandra Armstrong, municipalité de Mansfield et Pontefract. Donc, Jeunes du cœur, activité de cerveau actif à tous les lundis soirs à 18h30, donc à 6h30 à Bibliothèque de Mansfield, au 312 rue principale. Soirée cinéma québécois, Vampire aussi à la Bibliothèque municipale de Mansfield. C'est gratuit. We share with Fort Collins show. I'm just checking what we took off this. Yes, we are. Marché de Noël, marché de Noël d'antan à la maison Bryson au 314 rue principale le 9 novembre prochain. Changer de date complètement cette année. Et puis aussi à la bibliothèque, projet lit de camp Donc, en partenariat avec le Patro, il va y avoir un parcours à l'extérieur, débutant à 17 h jusqu'à 19 h, avec des lampes de poche et il va y avoir des choses à trouver à l'extérieur. Donc, en contant une histoire, donc tous est bienvenus. Et puis, Jeunes de cœur, cerveau actif, n'oubliez pas, il y a beaucoup d'activités. Il y a 10 sessions. Ça a débuté le 30 septembre et ça se continue. Vous pouvez acheter un livre, un guide pour 22 $ pour continuer avec les 8 autres sessions. Merci.
Christine Trancard, Fort-Coulonge. La suite de qu'est-ce que Madame Missy disait. OK. Premièrement, au Patro, on a la marche hantée qui va être le 25 et le 26 octobre de 18 h à 22 h. Puis aussi le 26 octobre, ça va être le jour de 10 h à 16 h. On a aussi au Patro l'activité Père-enfant qui est le 22 octobre de 10 h à midi et l'activité Mère-enfant qui est le 23 octobre de 10 h à midi. Aussi, Jeunes de cœur qui fait partie du Patro, il y a une marche organisée le 25 octobre et demain soir à 15 h, non, excusez-moi, 17 h, il y a un souper organisé au Mickey Creek. Tout le monde est bienvenu. Je veux aussi, excusez-moi, ce n'est pas demain, c'est vendredi, le 18 octobre. Je veux aussi vous annoncer que la Réunion est présentement fermée. On a quelques petits problèmes. On est sur la voie de tout réparer et puis on espère que ça va être réparé d'ici une semaine ou deux, là. Le 8 novembre. On espère pour le 8 novembre. Aussi, je vais vous annoncer qu'on a le jour du souvenir le 11 novembre à 11 h qui est commandité par la municipalité de Fort-Coulonge, la municipalité de Mansfield. Puis, I just want to wish everybody a happy Halloween and a safe Halloween. I think that's it.
Odie Waltham.
Ed Walsh, municipality of Clarendon, very quiet in our municipality. Half the municipality is harvesting their crops, the other half's away hunting. So hopefully we'll have something exciting for November.
Brent Orr, Mayor of Bristol. We have our Remembrance Day service coming up November 11th at 11 at the Cenotaph in Bristol.
Jean-Louis Corriveau, maire de l'île du Grand-Calmet. À l'île comme cela, il n'y a pas rien pour ce mois-ci. La seule chose que je veux annoncer, le mois passé, j'ai été à Québec pour la FQM. J'ai participé à un tirage à la FQM, puis j'ai été chanceux. J'ai gagné 5 000 $ pour donner à un organisme communautaire de la municipalité. So that's Jean-Louis Corriveau. Yeah, I just was in English there. I was just lucky. I just win $5,000 for an organism of my village. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Wish we all could do that. It's like, hey? Anyway, Karen Kelly from Thorn. Can't remember who I am. Anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know Oktoberfest was a great success this year. We had lots of people, and poor Thorn. I mean, we don't have many people normally, but it was jam-packed that weekend. And finally, around 7:30 Sunday morning, they finally started to leave. It's getting scary. Anyway, we also have our Remembrance Day on November the 11th, right at our municipal hall. Thank you.
Is it at 11? At 11.
Doris Ronge, Sheenborough. On November 10th, the Sheenborough Recreation Association is having a fundraiser country and square dance at the Sheen Parish Hall. Music by Gail Gavin, Terry Lynn Mahusky, Cheryl Fitzpatrick with caller Art Jameson. That's on November 10th, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. with a light lunch served at 5 p.m. And there is a cash bar. Tickets are $15. Also, I want to remember to remind you that November 11th also, we will have our Remembrance Day service at the Cenotaph, just at our church yard. And that'll be right on at 11 o'clock. And also, I think I was to mention that there's no charge for square dance lessons. Thank you.
Giving them.
Lynn Cameron, Portage de Fort. We have our Remembrance Day service, 2 o'clock on November 11th. And just happy hunting to all the hunters.
Donald Gagnon, Chichester. Just a reminder of our monthly draw for our seniors residence maire. It's a 50-50 draw. Takes place October the 25th at George's Bar in Chichester at 7 p.m. And usually it's $5,000. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. It's always interesting to hear what is happening in the Pontiac. So now we're going to go to question period. This is our public question period. And just wanted to say for interest that they had at FQM many, probably 25 different sessions that you could attend. And the best attended sessions were the ones about how council meetings are run, how to handle question period, how to, you know, the fortunately, public people, residents, taxpayers are coming out, you know, to meetings now in a much bigger way. And I guess it's a challenge for some. And so the whole topic of rules and regulations came up. And at a previous meeting, we were being questioned or challenged about it. So just wanted to read a couple of things, just a couple of bylaws. This is bylaw number 116-2005 pertaining to the question period. In section 2, it says the question period is limited to 30 minutes each sitting, and it can end earlier if there are no questions to be addressed. Section 3, notwithstanding Article 2, and at the entire discretion of the warden or the chairman, a second question period of a maximum of 10 minutes can be held at the end of the sitting. Section 5, any member of the public has a maximum time allotted for addressing council with one question and one sub-question, totaling 5 minutes, after which the chairman of the meeting may put an end to the intervention. Section 6, the member of council to whom a question is addressed to may answer immediately, may answer at a subsequent meeting, or may answer in writing. And section 8, only questions of public interest are allowed in opposition to private interest questions, not concerning the municipality. Okay, so I think that was all that I needed to read, correct? So let's start the question period. And we've got the podium right over there. And you can be first, Mr. Squiddy. You're right there at the podium. And for the sake of everyone, we will use a timer. Thank you. So we'll start 5 minutes for each person. If you don't need 5 minutes, then don't feel you have to take it. And then the next person can speak. So one question and a subsequent sub-question. Oh, speak right. No, you've got to speak in the mic because we want it recorded and the Facebook Live people want to hear you.
Once again, thank you, Warden, for this opportunity to speak once again to my fellow mayors. I had a bit of a preamble, but after the discussion around the table, I heard fair many times. Now, when I was a player, like on the MRC team, it was more than fair, it was the same. So in your discussions of what you're going to do, fair shouldn't be on the table, because is it fair that a 1 acre lot in Danford Lake goes up $60,000, and should a 1 acre lot in Bristol, Fort Collonge, Shawville go up that amount? It has to be the same. So here's what I want to say.
Can I just
Yes?
Just to clarify your question, are you saying that the increase has to be the same across the whole Pontiac? Because I don't think that's possible, but, so what was your question about fairness? When we talk about fairness, we mean that with any changes to a bylaw, we wouldn't want it to all of a sudden disadvantage certain municipalities. So whatever we move forward with our bylaw should benefit everyone the same way. So your next
Okay.
question?
Okay, let me just explain fair. All of the municipalities pay a share. There has never been a problem with the municipality of Alien and Kaywood paying their share, even though they don't have the same access to things. Like there's a bike trail here. Swisha, how far away are you from the bike trail? But you pay your share. Because that's what we do, because it's fair. Now, you have the river. You're talking about putting a fitness center, swimming pool up in Fort Collonge. You have a new hall here. Everybody pays, but their share. So it has to be the same with taxes. You can't tax Alien and Kaywood more than you're taxing Shawvale or Fort Collonge or anybody else. It has to be the same. And previous to COVID happening, that's what it was. There's been a little blip, and now all of a sudden it's throwing everything helter skelter. So the municipality of Alien and Kaywood have been requesting that their bylaw to remove the effect of the comparative factor be presented at a public meeting since August. So like it was quasi done here. I understand that the MRC Pontiac has something coming in November. There has been much discussion in the news around the table of mayors and in the public, and a lot of misinformation is being shared. The phrase being used is fake news. Fake news on what site? You believe it or you don't? Fake news. To be totally transparent, and this MRC should be totally transparent, I request that the warden to hold a special meeting of council in the form of an open forum debate between the evaluation task force of Alien and Kaywood and the MRC Pontiac, discussing and presenting the two options of the potential bylaws to rectify the calculation of shares. Totally transparent.
Okay.
If I may, I'd like to give you a copy
Thank you
of
for
this.
that suggestion. And what might be, I like the idea of, I think that, based on the questions that we've been receiving, there are a lot of people that don't understand what the shares are paying for. And it is true that some municipalities benefit more from certain services. Thank you, Mr. Squiddy, than others. So I think information is an important thing, but rather than having a debate, I don't think we're in disagreement with each other. I think that there are people that have expertise and have learned a lot through this. But I also think that based on our research with 45 other MRCs and just the type of input that we heard last Friday, I think you're going to like what you hear. And at the end of the day, our quest is to find something that will not cause people to all of a sudden have huge increases, meaning that they might have to leave their homes. This is the most important thing. Everybody has a right to stay where they're living, and taxes should never be a reason why you need to leave. And so we're going to look at everything. We're even looking at what the services are and how the shares are allocated. But one thing that I should just mention that you may not know is that when this agreement was made, and I don't know what year it would have been, I guess when the MRC was formed, this idea of shares, it's everyone is in and no one can opt out. So it's 18 municipalities that all have to share in the pie, but how it's sectioned and divided is another thing, largely based on population and, number of taxpayers and requiring more services and that sort of thing. Okay, thank you, Mr. Squiddy. Next speaker, you want me to say all that in French? I can. Je pense une meilleure idée une rencontre pour information pour tous les Pontiac versus un débat, confrontation, pas de constructive. Je pense nous avons besoin expliquer tous services et comment how it's divisé pour chaque municipalité. OK? Je m'excuse mon français. Just saying. Next questioner, please identify.
Mon nom, c'est Linda Davis. À la dernière réunion des Merci Pontiac, j'ai demandé une question sur les règlements sur une limite de 30 minutes. Et vous avez dit avant, s'il y a 15 personnes ici, c'est divisé, 30 minutes divisé par 15, c'est 2 minutes chacun. Aussi, j'ai demandé une question. Pourquoi c'est seulement une question? Je voudrais savoir tous les renseignements. Le DG a donné la motion de 2005 et vous avez souligné des points, mais vous avez oublié à mentionner, il y a une section qui dit si le président du conseil décide quelqu'un ne fonctionne pas, le comportement n'est pas correct, vous pouvez avoir une amende de $400 chacun. Et je voudrais savoir pourquoi c'est pas marqué. Je voudrais demander à la conseil si vous avez l'intention de discuter dans la plénière et en plus enlever les amendes. C'est pas bon pour nous d'avoir ça. Et le règlement, c'est 2005. 2005, c'est presque 20 ans. And I'll go around it in English very quickly. At the last MRC meeting, I asked if you, where was the rule that came out that said there was 30 minutes and that it would be divided by the number of people that wanted to speak? I think this limits participation. It's not democratic. And I'd like to know why it's questions only. It should be called not question period, but public delegations, as it is in most councils. In 2005, you also have a section that said that there would be a the warden read about it, but it in fact said that if you read the actual motion, it says there's a $400 fine that the president, the warden could decide that any one of us was not having proper comportment and we would get a $400 fine. And that was in 2005. They haven't modified it since. So I'd like to see the end of this. I would like to know if you guys have discussed, the mayors have discussed this in plenary last week. And I would like to know, are you planning to revise it so that it's more democratic, that if someone comes out, they have the opportunity to actually address, this is our only opportunity to come face to face to talk to our mayors. The other thing I would suggest that in order to save time, I would suggest that you, instead of going around the tour de table, you could actually have it at your plenaries, create on the website that you have all of your activities. That way it would be a great place for everyone to go. So you would save the time of going around the table, which was approximately 40 minutes. The warden does not need to give her report everywhere she is. It could be an addendum to what comes out tomorrow. There could be simply something there so that we could read that. Aussi, c'est un problème de traduction simultanée. You can't give someone 2 minutes or 5 minutes if we need to say it in both languages. Thank you. And I'd like some answers on around the table. Are any of the mayors prepared to take this forward and to actually modify this, that the fines are taken out?
I've got some good news for you. Later today in this meeting, we are actually tabling some improvements that FQM are making. We haven't had a chance to see them all in detail. We'll be doing it at our next plenary, but it is being revised, and so there will be some changes made. in turn, I didn't know about the $400 fine, and I've certainly never invoked it to anybody. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Did you bring your checkbook? No.
Well, you did call the police
I'm
before on
just
the
joking.
insider group.
But I really, Linda, if I may call you Linda, Miss Davis, you and I have one thing in common. We used to be in public office in Ontario. And in Ontario, it's not called the question period. And I find the same thing. There is no chance to just get up and speak.
You've been here 7
that
years.
was in
Change it.
Ontario, and it was always called exactly the delegation
Délégation
period.
publique, oui.
Exactly. And so I think that's a good question, but apparently it's just the way it's done in Quebec. It's called
So
question
I'd like
period.
to know if other mayors would have some comments. Are they interested in? Sandra, that would be awesome.
I was just going to give her one more answer, Sandra, just one more. Take your microphone, please.
So about the fines and everything, I'll let the warden answer that. But what I was saying is, when it's question period in Quebec, it's question period and it's not a common period. There you go.
Mais de temps en temps, peut faire la.
Yeah. You know, Sandra, you're Pro Warden Armstrong, you are absolutely correct, but and so maybe I'm not doing a good job chairing, but what I always do is I put myself in the shoes of the people who come all the way down here, and to have just a lot of rules and regulations and be told you can only ask a question. Maybe you don't have a question, but you have a comment. And so maybe we eventually will have to look at some flexibility, because in my heart, I find it hard to chair a meeting where I'm just snapping, what's your question? What's your question? What's your question? You know, if people have something to say, we don't have an opportunity for them to speak. So it is something that perhaps at some point needs to be addressed. Sydney Squiddy.
Sydney Squiddy,
You have 5 minutes.
Aileen and Kaywood. Premièrement, je tiens à reconnaître et remercier mes co-citoyens d'Aileen et Kaywood. Votre soutien est grandement apprécié et n'est pas passé inaperçu. Deuxièmement, je tiens à remercier notre préfète Jane Toller pour les nombreuses discussions que nous avons partagées lors de la FQM à la fin septembre. First of all, I would like to acknowledge and thank my fellow ratepayers from Aileen and Kaywood. Your support is appreciated and has not gone unnoticed. Secondly, I would like to thank our warden, Jane Toller, for the many conversations and hugs we shared at the FQM at the end of September. While Isabel Cardinal, Guy Bergeron, and I were at the FQM, we met with the special advisor to Minister Laforêt. We are taking steps towards fixing this evaluation issue for all of Quebec. On September 24th, Warden Toller, you stated on your Facebook post that you would be speaking with Minister Laforêt. Were you able to? And if so, what did you advocate for? Thank you.
I had a brief discussion with her, and my discussion was only about the Elena Kaywood situation. And I told her by that point that she had already met you and Isabel, and maybe Guy, and that I supported you, and that I hoped that she would take the time to meet with you.
We appreciate your support.
All right. Hi, my name is Christine Anderson, and I'm from Thorn. And my first question is, I see you're all going to be working hard at solving we all recognize that there is a problem with the municipal tax. There's issues. So can you give me a date that you think this whole thing can be solved by?
What I can say is that we are treating this with urgency. What is holding things up a bit right now is that we need to work with municipal affairs, and we also need our legal counsel to assist with it. What we don't want to do is go forward with a bylaw that is not legal, or at the end does not accomplish what we're hoping to accomplish. So in terms of a definite deadline, I can't give that to you. That is why I said earlier, as soon as possible.
Okay, so my sub question is, if the taxes issue has not been resolved before the 2025 taxes are due for the residents or the citizens of the Pontiac, what are they going to be charged? Are they going to be charged taxes based on an incorrect evaluation and something that you're all working on? Because I think that would be highly unfair. So I do have a suggestion, and it was in the equity today, but I can also hand it out to all the mayors. And that is for each municipality to resolve to not charge their citizens something that is incorrect, and that we could put a freeze on this whole thing so that people aren't shocked and freaked out, and just stick with paying whatever you paid in 2024. So we're not bankrupting the municipalities or the MRC. And then we can all kind of just get to the right answer in the amount of time that's needed and not be charged incorrectly, because I think that that would be highly, highly unfair. So can we all agree to some kind of resolution like that in the meantime, while we're waiting for lawyers and experts and committees and everything like that? That could take a long time.
Thank you, Christine. Okay. We know now that for 2025, the comparative factor, I think across the board, will be 1.0. And so we're not expecting a big increase next year, but in terms of what's happened here, anyone who has received or does, in January, receive taxes that they don't agree with, because the evaluation is one thing, but the tax bill is another, and that's factoring in what your local council also can bring, forward as a mill rate. And in some cases, it's already been in the newspaper. Some of our councils have really sharpened their pencils and gone as low as they can to prevent a higher tax increase. So I just wanted to add that. Go ahead, Christine.
I
Sorry.
know, I'm trying to hold myself together.
No problem.
Keep going,
No
keep
problem.
going.
I just needed to finish the sentence,
Yes,
which
okay.
was,
Yeah.
I was explaining, I got lost in my explanation of the difference between the tax bill and the evaluation. When you actually get the tax bill, if you disagree with it, you have until April of 2025 to ask for reconsideration. And often when reconsiderations come in, they come back lower. It's
Okay.
possible. That's why we offer that.
Okay.
I'm going to let our Director General say something. She was trying to say something to me.
I just wanted to assure you that we received the comparative factors for 2025 for all the municipalities, and all of them are at 1.0. So I know, but your shares that Aileen and Kaywood are going to pay in 2025 will be close to half of what they were last year.
Okay. I still feel like for what has been evaluated, applying a mill rate is still kind of a Band-Aid. And the real problem is fixing the root of the problem, which is the incorrect evaluations. And that we shouldn't just keep Band-Aiding things and, oh, it's okay, we'll just do this, this, and this. No, we need to fix what's really wrong. And until then, people should have the choice. And I'm glad to hear that there are exceptions. So that was one of my suggestions, is that anybody should be able to grieve what they've been presented, and now be able to just pay a very, like, what they're used to paying, at least the equivalent of 2024, until something is fixed properly. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Isabel, are you going to ask a question?
Yes.
Thank you.
First, my name is Isabel. I'm the Director General of the Municipality of Aileen and Kaywood. I have a few questions, but I also would like to touch on the adjusting of the mill rate. This has came a lot. I've seen some emails also, Jane, that you have been replying to our residents saying that we have the control to lower our mill rate. Yes, we do. We've been preparing documents for Quebec City. We've been working really close with the office of André Laforêt. They agree that this whole evaluation system needs to be revised. In the work that we're sending to Quebec City, we did a table of different scenarios for our upcoming taxation. And one of them is showing different property that receive different increase and trying to apply a mill rate to all of those properties. So we have increased ranging from 16% all the way to 4,000%. So how are we supposed to put a mill rate that is fair for everybody when everybody was touched so differently in our municipality? So for example, one scenario I did is if we would put the mill rate at 50% of what it is right now, and we're seeing that people that had increased under 100% are saving on their tax bill. However, when you go above the 100%, it's equivalent and then goes higher and higher and higher and higher. So for example, we have somebody in that had a 215% increase in their evaluation. So they went from 13,900 to 43,900. Their municipal taxes this year was $158. If we cut the mill rate in half, $250,000. $250, sorry. So an increase of $100, even if we cut the mill rate in half. And then it goes up. We did a scenario at 65%, $325, and then it just goes up and up and up. I can tell you right now, we cannot cut our mill rate in half, that we won't be able to operate even if we cut our mill rate in half. So yes, adjusting the mill rate is a comment that we've been receiving all through this year, but it's not going to be fair to our ratepayers. We're going to have some people that may save, and we're going to have some people that their tax bill will triple and quadruple. So I would like, if you may, like not use this argument anymore, because
Isabel,
it's not a
it's
true
one
fact.
couple that wrote me, and I mentioned that. I gave them 5 different things that could factor into the final result. And I put it this, I didn't say to 50% or anything. I said,
no,
I said, and your municipal council, when they, are doing their budget, will decide upon a mill rate, and that it could be as, they could lower it, and that.
And we
an
have
impact.
her property here.
So I'm still always going to say that, because that is a reality.
But
the
it's
truth.
not a
what
true
every
fact.
council goes through every year.
So the scenario Jane is talking about, or the warden is talking about, that person had an increase in her property by 733%.
Okay,
So she paid.
I've just been reminded, if you could please make this a question.
Okay. Well, my question is, like everybody knows, our municipality was hit with big shares this year. And one question I have is, why did, when Chichester brought that to the table 2 years ago, nothing was done at the MRC table when it was requested by Mr. Gagnon, and nothing happened? That's my question.
There were a lot of meetings, actually, Isabel, and I'll let Mayor Gagnon explain the process and explain just what had caused the problem in your municipality.
Comparative factor had a big effect, but we did have meetings, but we didn't have any consensus. We met, I don't know how many times. We had lots of different options, but we were looking for the one that was fair. Well, I'm saying fair for Joe there, but no, the one that was the best option for the whole table, and we didn't have it yet. But now we're starting to have more scenarios. That's all I can say for now.
I think in the end, I think found overall savings in the MRC budget to also, remember, we went through that whole exercise to take out 100,000 or whatever. We took the MRC budget and lowered it so that the shares would not have as much of an impact. But over the years that I've been here, there's often been municipalities and mayors who've said, you know, well, we want to opt out of this. We don't want to have to pay shares to the MRC anymore. But it's just the way it is. It's sort of all for one. Opinion. When you think about the location of some of our municipalities, some are able to benefit more from certain services than others, and yet you're still, you know, being charged. Actually, that same people that you're referring to had asked me for a list of all the services, and I just got that from Annie Viancourt today, and I'm sending it to them. Are we at our 30 minutes? 5 more minutes? Well, I have no idea where we are with the time, and someone's got to be chairing the meeting, right? And we do have a few other things on the agenda. But please give your name and by the way, if there are any more comments, and I know who was making them, I will ask you to leave the room.
Okay, so hi, my name is Samantha. I'm
your name and your municipality.
I'm from Thorn. My name is Samantha. I have two sort of related but unrelated questions at the same time. One of the questions I have is I was hoping to see it presented tonight, my municipality backed a petition, but what I want to know is there are multiple petitions for, of course, the taxes and all the problems around that. What happens with that information? Like, how does it get used in support of this?
The petition that was collected went to our provincial representative, Andre Fortin. He stood up. Pardon me?
Yeah, I'm talking about all of the petitions, like in general, like what happens with the petitions? Like there's multiple petitions that exist. There's one from Thorn, there's one from Allen Kaywood. I've seen a couple others that are sort of Pontiac related. So there's multiple
what I think
petitions.
you might be referring to. I know there was a letter that came in from the municipality of Thorn in support of that petition, but it wasn't a separate petition.
Okay, and my question remains, so what happens?
My simple answer would be all petitions need to go to the provincial government. We can, even if they were turned in here, we would be submitting them on to Andre Fortin's office because it is a provincial matter and it is at the province that change place.
Okay, and does the MRC support those? So I have a Thorn saying like, hey, we support you, we're putting our backing in, but is there a backup of MRC as well?
I think individual municipalities were given the opportunity to vote in support of what Elena Kaywood were asking.
Okay.
And I don't know, you would know better, Isabel, how many
currently, and the one that I'm talking about, like at least my local one is currently sitting at 374 and we have 458 residents.
Okay, but I think is it not too late to be submitting it to
well, no, I'm just
Andre?
my personal question is just how does it work? What is the petition doing? Is it helping? Is it helping?
Well, I don't know how widespread petitions were, but when I became the warden, I always recommend petitions. We've had 3 or 4 petitions. The first one was to get the funding for the Red Bridge, and Andre Fortin stood up. Another one was for the technologs. So what happens is, if you just stand up and make a speech, well, you know, people listen. But if you stand up and say, I've got 4,000 signatures or 2,000 signatures, I think, and again, because petitions aren't that widespread in Quebec, I think every time Andre stands up, he's well respected. And when he tells how many names he has, that shows, considering our overall population is 14,700, it shows a lot of support. So yes, I really believe in petitions.
Okay, thank you, because it's
a great way to make your voice heard.
For sure, and we don't really hear anything about them. So that's part of why I wanted to ask. I think in general, I know I've signed petitions and have found myself wondering, but where does it go and what's happening? And did you receive it? And is someone supporting it? My other question is, and forgive me if it's not necessarily correct for the MRC, I'm still sort of learning the hierarchy of how things work. I realize that municipalities can make their own bylaws about certain things, but I think one of the problems with the tax thing is we're bringing in these, you know, mini mansion communities that immediately drive taxes and costs up for all of us without anybody even knowing. It's like all of a sudden, I just drove by one today where I was like, holy hell, where is this coming from? And I know that's driving up all of our taxes. So is there a way that MRC as one, you know, entity could make a bylaw that we put a stop on certain types of builds so that we don't have as much of an increase? Like is it called Dreamy? I think we all know what Dreamy is something, but they build these like crazy neighborhoods that are like $1 zillion, and it kind of hurts the regular old person, right? So I was wondering if there's a way to bylaw that or cap it somehow.
Well, what I have thought is that maybe I know our new DGA has got some experience in urbanism. I think that it would be good for our mayors and councils to have a really good session on the types of things to watch for when these developers come. Because, you know, at this point, we're a devitalized area, and someone comes with big promises, big money, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. You know, you just want to say yes, but then there can be repercussions, and it can even be as simple as who's paying for the infrastructure, who's going to be putting in the pipes for water and all of these things. Is that going to fall on the rest of us? It shouldn't. It should all be, you know, before any development is agreed to, it should all be listed and signed, and they need to not come in and take advantage of us. Yes, we want economic development. Yes, we want revitalization, but it has to be on our terms. We have to be in the driver's seat. Can't have people come in and just promise the world and then, you know, just not deliver. Just take the money and run type of situation and leave us with the consequences.
Okay, that's,
I'd like to add something though. The way Jane was saying, we want to be in control at the MRC level. Right now, we're reviewing our land use management plan, and there's going to be public consultations in the next year to approve this land use management plan. So then when your municipality wants to adopt a bylaw that talks about what you can build and where you can build it, that has to be in conformity with our land use management plan. So we have to approve them. So whenever we have these public consultations, it'll be important for you guys to participate.
Fantastic. Thank you for answering my questions. Have a nice night.
Thank you. Those are good questions.
Thank you so much.
One more question, Angela?
Yes. Hi, can you hear me? Yes. Okay. To say I'm disappointed is to put it mildly. I feel at this point that we have a better chance of changing the process at the provincial level than actually at the MRC level. It's we provided information in regards to our bylaw months and months ago. I'm feeling seriously, we're very hopeful that at the provincial level, we can actually change the evaluation process. And at the MRC level, it seems to be a struggle. Like even our shares, we were quoted like that our number last year was fake at 3.7 or 370%, but yet we have to pay shares based on that fake and unrealistic number. I'm hoping that with the surplus of 1.3 million, that we can somehow accommodate this, because we're hurting. Like we are really hurting, and we already know our taxes are going to go up. Even if the mill rate is dropped drastically, we're still going to get increases. So please help us out here at the MRC level, because if we make a change at the provincial level, let's follow suit at the MRC level. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, everyone. And all I can, and that is a good point that Angela makes. I mean, the provincial, it is a provincial matter. It's great that we have the power to make our own bylaw, but it's just something done. And so we're on a really good track. I think our outline, our plans right now, I think, you know, you will be happy with it, but it's just how long do you have to wait? And I'm really encouraged to hear that things have gone as well with Andrea Lafera, because it's one thing to meet a person like that at a meeting, and it's quite another to actually have follow-up and have interest expressed and have the visitors come yet to visit Elena Kaywood. I'm just curious.
No, right now we're in the process. We finalized today where we put a big package together with what we think are the problems. So we said what the problem was, and we also have solutions. We're not just saying your system doesn't work. We actually have solution to present. So we're very, very hopeful. When we were talking with them, they agreed that it was outdated system. So we're fighting hard, and we're not fighting just for Aileen and Kaywood. We're doing this for all us small municipalities. So it would be nice to see the same support around the council table when we got a hit our shares at 156%. The next one closest to us was like at 50% with Donny Gagnon. So it's a very big hike.
Okay, and Isabel, although usually it takes much longer to get things done at a provincial level, and I think we can move faster at a regional level. If you are successful changing across the whole province, you know, we'll be very proud of that. And you have in spirit from everybody here. We're just concerned about, you know, having everything in order before we actually vote on it. And another thing, just, you know, the same way that we were able to help Donnie's situation a bit, at our budget committee, maybe we can take a good look at just your situation. Okay, so thank you very much for all of you coming out again in this cramped space. We really appreciate how important this is to you, and we want to see Lane Kaywood thrive. Okay, so thank you very much. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like.
Will the next meeting, because you're presenting the bylaw, we're probably going to have a big crowd again. So would it be possible for you guys to vote? You said you had to do it at the previous meeting to change the location for the next meeting. We have a lot of seniors that has to stand up.
Okay, so perhaps I haven't had a chance to discuss it around the table or with Kim and our staff, but perhaps what would make sense is as soon as we know, we may have to have some kind of special meeting because it takes 2 meetings for our bylaw to be approved. Perhaps in the future, if we know when this meeting will take place where we can vote, we could then have enough time to vote on another location. Because I think, you know, we could all support the fact that for a controversial issue and a lot of people interested, you shouldn't have to stand. You should be able to. So now that we know how it works, we know how it works. And so if we had a special meeting, we wouldn't necessarily have to wait till a monthly meeting to vote on something like a meeting location. But first we need to know so we don't drag you down here for nothing when we're going to be ready to present it. And we will keep in touch with you through your mayor, Carl Mayer. Okay? Thank you again for all of your work. Okay, we're going now to general administration, going to our Director General, Kim Lesage. We're going to start with 12.1 vacancies on MRC committees.
Une résolution pour que certains maires se comblent des postes vacants. Oh, we'll take a 5 minute.
Yes. Yes, perhaps we'll take a 5-minute break. MRC committees, a resolution, Kim Lesage.
Une résolution pour approuver les nominations sur des comités. So resolution for approving members on different committees. So for the Human Resources Committee, a chair would be Mayor Corey Spence. Agriculture, Comité consultatif agricole, a 2-year mandate. Mayor Ed Walsh and Mayor Brent Orr. They're renewing their 2-year mandate. For Vitalization Committee, FRR4, Mayor Jennifer Quayle. For the Budget Committee, again, Mayor Corey Spence as chair. And for the Multi-Resource Committee, Mayor Donald Gagnon.
Okay, could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Lynn Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.2, the sale for taxes. 12.2.1, sale for taxes in portage. Resolution, Kim.
Une résolution pour une vente pour taxe. Resolution for a sales for tax for portage de fort that will allow myself and Warden Toller to sign the notaries.
Moved by Mayor Karen Kelly. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.2.2, sale for taxes, portage de fort. Resolution, Kim.
Une résolution pour une autre vente pour taxe à portage du fort. A resolution for another sale for tax for a different lot in portage du fort.
Moved by Mayor Jean-Louis Corriveau. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.2.3, sale for taxes, Campbell's Bay. Resolution, Kim.
Une résolution pour une vente pour taxe à Campbell's Bay. Resolution for a sales for tax in the municipality of Campbell's Bay. Again, to allow Jane and Toller and myself to sign at Mireille Larise.
Moved by Mayor Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.2.4, sale for taxes, L'Île aux Allumettes. Resolution, Kim.
Une autre résolution pour une vente pour taxe, cette fois-ci à la municipalité de L'Île aux Allumettes. So a sales for tax in the municipality of L'Île aux Allumettes.
Moved by Mayor Odie Godin. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.2.5, sale for taxes, Sheenborough. Resolution, Kim.
Résolution pour une vente pour taxe dans la municipalité de Sheenborough. So to allow myself and Warden Toller to sign at the notaries for a sales for tax in Sheenborough.
Moved by Mayor Lynn Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.2.6, sale for taxes, portage. Resolution, Kim.
Une résolution pour signer chez la notaire Maître Maude Castagne pour un immeuble à portage du fort. Une vente pour taxe, sales for tax and portage du fort.
Moved by Mayor Doris Rancher. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.2.7, sale for taxes in portage. Resolution, Kim.
C'est pour la préparation de contrat pour un immeuble désigné à portage du fort. So to sign again at the notaries for a land for tax sale in portage du fort.
Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Then we'll go to 12.3, the authorization withdrawal from the Villages Branchés du Québec program. Resolution, Kim.
On demande une résolution du conseil pour se désengager du programme Village branché du Québec. Ça, c'est pour nos avec la connexion fibre-Picanac. So a resolution to withdraw from the Village branché program. And that's when we have the fiber connexion fibre-Picanac internet with the municipalities and the school boards.
Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 12.4, the authorization mandate for the sale of MRC Pontiac shares to Connection Fib Picanac. Resolution, Kim.
C'est une deuxième résolution en lien avec Connexion Fibre-Picanac. Puis ça, c'est suite à notre rencontre du comité d'administration qui a eu lieu le 9 octobre. Alors, c'est pour mandater une firme pour la vente des parts de la MRC Pontiac à Connexion Fib Picanok. So following a meeting of the administration for Connexion Fib Picanok that was held on October 9th, we'd like to move forward to authorize a mandate for the sale of our shares of the MRC Pontiac to Connexion Fib Picanok.
Moved by Mayor Karen Kelly. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 12.5, adoption bylaw 295, 2024, travel expenses of MRC council members and employees. Adoption resolution. Kim and Annie Vinecourt. Annie, do you need to say anything? Nope.
So this is a bylaw that we have at the MRC for travel expenses for council members and employees that we modify from time to time in with regard to the prices for kilometers reimbursements or meal reimbursements that are like in accordance with the Conseil du Trésor. Alors, un règlement, une modification à notre règlement pour les frais de déplacement des élus et des employés de la MRC.
Moved by Mayor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 12.6, notice of motion bylaw concerning the management of sittings of the Council of the Pontiac MRC. Notice of motion, and so we do not need to. Are you going to present it?
C'est un avis de motion concernant le règlement concernant les régies internes des séances du Conseil de la MRC. Puis il y a eu une question par rapport à ça pendant la période de questions du public. So during the question period, there was a question or a comment made about the management of sittings, and we are going to table a notice of motion to adopt a revised bylaw.
Thank you. We'll go on to finances. Just to take carriage of it, or to table it? Yes, we're just not voting, you're right. So tabled by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. Thank you. Finances, 13.1. Financial report, a resolution, Annie Vinecourt.
So for the MRC in the past month, our accounts receivables are sitting at $1,705,109. There's almost 800,000 of that are the business loans, and the rest are regular receivables. We also have a list of checks, bills paid in the past month. Total is $551,003.53. There were many FRR Stream 2 payments gone out to projects that had been approved previously, and some regular bills for hydro and phones, Spirulator, also other different projects in culture as well, and some tourism campaigning. Then we have a list of accounts payables of $192,503.74. And the travel expenses for council for the different meetings they attend of $1,114.75.
Thank you, Annie. Any comments or questions about that report? I have someone move this resolution. Moved by Mayor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 13.2. Notice of motion and draft bylaw MRC budget 2025 expenses and revenues of the MRC Pontiac 2025. Notice of motion, Kim and Annie.
Sorry, I thought Annie was still there. And notice of motion that we have every year at this time for our budget, and motion pour approuver notre budget par règlement en novembre.
Thank you. And who would like to table this? Notice of motion, Doris Ranger, Mayor Doris Ranger. Thank you. 14, management of territory. 14.1, amendment to resolution CM 2024-06-14, land exchange request, intramunicipal public lands, TPI resolution.
C'est une modification à une résolution qu'on a adoptée en juin pour une demande d'échange de terres publiques. So it's just an amendment to the resolution adopted in June for a land exchange request on our TPIs. We submitted the request to the Ministry of Natural Resources, and we just had to change some wording in our resolution.
Would like to move this resolution. Moved by Mayor Lucy Rivet-Paquette. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 14.2, resolution in support of the Quebec government's analysis of the proposal to create a protected area. Resolution.
Une résolution qui a été présentée par la Société pour la nature et Parcs du Canada, des propositions de projets qui se trouvent dans la MRC Pontiac pour des aires protégées. Alors, on a besoin d'une résolution pour que le MELCCFP analyse ces terrains-là. So, over the past few months, Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society, so CPAWS, have I guess, observed some areas that they think would be interesting to protect. So they're proposing 13 different projects in Outaouais, but 6 of them are partially located in the MRC Pontiac. And for the MELCCFP to analyze these, the justification, that we need to pass a resolution. So it's not saying that we approve to protect them, but we approve that the ministry analyzes those locations.
I have someone move this. Thank you. Mayor Odie Godin. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. So Kim, you're representing a lot of people tonight. We have a few people hunting. Economic development, 15.1. 15.1.1, MRC Budget Breakfast United Way. A resolution, Kim?
Une résolution de prendre 2 000 $ de notre budget de la MRC pour le déjeuner central. So, resolution to take $2,000 out of our MRC budget for the expenditures of the United Way breakfast. And that's to cover some publicity, food, cooking services, tablecloth rental, and the RA Center.
Okay, thank you. Could someone take carriage of this? Moved by Mayor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.2, acceptance of letter of offer and variable investment credit agreement with FTQ Local Solidarity Fund. Resolution, Kim. And it says fund, but it should have a D on the end, but fund.
Une résolution pour accepter l'offre pour nos fonds locaux de solidarité FTQ, accepter l'offre de crédit variable à l'investissement. So we need a resolution to accept the offer of variable investment credit under our fonds locaux de solidarité, our FTQ funds at the MRC.
Thank you. Could someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.3, the launch of call for projects for the Cultural Development Fund. Resolution, Kim.
Résolution pour lancer l'appel d'offres projet pour nos fonds de développement culturel. On a une somme de 35 000 $ pour des petits projets. Ça l'ouvre le 23 octobre, puis ça ferme le 21 novembre 2024. Alors, on invite la population à soumettre des projets. So this is a resolution to launch the call for projects for our cultural development funds. We have $35,000 for small short-term projects that are available. The launch for projects is going to start on October 23rd, and the closing is November 21st at noon. So we invite people to apply for this funding.
Moved by Mayor Corey Spence. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 15.4, appointment of an elected representative to lead the PFM initiative. Resolution, Kim.
C'est une résolution pour désigner un élu qui, on recommande Maire Sandra Armstrong comme responsable de la politique familiale municipale. So the appointment of an elected representative to lead the family policy, municipal family policy program or initiative, and we're recommending Mayor Sandra Armstrong.
And you accept? Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 15.5, the PAC MIFI project funding submission by Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi du Pontiac. It's to do with immigration resolution. Kim?
Une résolution pour approuver la soumission de Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi pour le projet d'intégration et d'immigration dans le Pontiac, dans la MRC Pontiac. Si le projet se fait approuver, c'est pour, il nous demanderait 5 000 en 2025 et 5 000 en 2026. So we're looking for a resolution for the Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi has submitted a MIFI project for integration and immigration in the MRC Pontiac. If it does get approved, they would be asking an MRC contribution of $5,000 in 2025 and $5,000 in 2026.
Thank you. Moved by Mayor Odie Gaudin. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 15.6, maintenance of intercity transportation services on the Route 148 corridor, shares 2024. Resolution, Kim.
Une résolution pour nos codes-parts de la MRC Pontiac pour offrir le service de transport interurbain sur la 148. C'est un projet de 178 500 $, puis notre contribution de la MRC Pontiac, ça serait de 11 750. So this is a resolution for our shares at the MRC to maintain inter-city transportation service on Highway 148. The project is $178,500, and the MRC shares is $11,750.
Someone like to move this? Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 15.7, Agri-Saveur, a resolution, Kim.
C'est une résolution pour faire une demande de subvention à travers le programme de proximité du MAPAC pour l'aménagement d'une boutique de comptoir réfrigéré, de congélateur pour le projet Agri-Saveur. C'est une demande, un maximum de 50 000 sans contribution de la MRC. So it's to apply this resolution for an application to be made through the MAPAC's proximity program for installation of a boutique, refrigerated counters, and freezers for the Agri-Saveur project. And the request would be for a maximum of $50,000 with no contribution from the MRC.
Moved by Mayor Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 16, public safety. 16.1, the SQ Cadets Program, Summer 2025, Resolution, Kim.
C'est une résolution pour la Sûreté du Québec pour avoir encore des cadettes sur notre territoire en 2025, à l'été 2025. Puis cette année, on a fait une demande pour jusqu'à un total de 4 cadets. So for 2025, we'd like to have cadets again through the SQ on our territory, and we are requesting that we have up to 4 cadets for this summer.
Moved by Marilyn Cameron. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Regional infrastructure, 17.1, the electrical work for the MRC building, Resolution, Kim.
Okay, so this is a resolution to update our electrical panels because they are over full right now. Some of the fuses are doubled up, and with the installation of our new electric car recharging stations, so that's just too much. It's an overload. So we got a quote. I don't know. So the cost is $5,269.30, which includes taxes from Hodgins Electric to do the work.
Any questions? Thank you, Annie. Could I have someone move this, please? Moved by Mayor Brent Orr. All those in favor? That carries. 17.2, the building units, flooring and walls.
Again, this is a resolution for some work on the MRC building. So in the older section, there's some walls that we need to have insulated just because the sound between offices is really loud. And also a lot of sections need floor tiles replaced that have been broken or tiles missing. So we did get a few quotes for that and just retained the lowest one, which is Toiture Boulet Inc. And the amount is $58,860.31, including taxes.
Thank you, Annie. Any questions about that? Could I have someone move this, please? Moved by Mayor Corey Spence. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 17.3, awarding of the maintenance work on the PPJ Cyclo Park. Resolution, Kim.
Une résolution pour le contrat de travaux d'entretien pour le cycloparc PPJ. So this is a resolution to maintenance work on the PPG bike path. So we did a call for tender to 7 of our local entrepreneurs. We received 2 submissions, and it was for 2 separate projects. So one of it is for around 2 kilometers of stone dust in Mansfield and Pontefract. And the second one is for about 3.1 kilometers of stone dust resurfacing in L'Île aux Allumettes. The lowest bid for both was by Nugent Construction, Inc. So for the call for tender number 1 in Mansfield, $49,280. And for the work in L'Île aux Allumettes, it was $79,640. And that comes from our PPJ budget. So I would recommend to award both contracts to Nugent.
Okay, could I have someone move this, please? Moved by Mayor Bill McCleary. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 17.4, the snow removal contract, 2024-2025, and this is for the property here at the MRC parking lot. Resolution, Kim.
Une résolution pour le déneigement de nos stationnements ici à la MRC Pontiac. So we had a call for tender, I think for maybe 4 or 5 of our local entrepreneurs to remove the snow in the parking lots at the MRC. We received 2 bids, and the lowest is by Déneigement Pontiac for an amount of $6,179.91 taxes in for the 2024-2025 season.
Would like to move this, moved by Mayor Carl Mayer. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Under miscellaneous, 18.1, Fall Family Day. Kim Lesage, it's just for information.
Un point d'information, c'est pour, dans le cadre de la campagne Entraide Outaouais, un événement de course et marche est organisé pour ramasser des fonds pour Centraide. L'événement se déroule dimanche, le 20 octobre, à Campbell's Bay. Puis, ça va être sur la piste cyclable. Il y aurait un trajet de 2 km, 5 km et 10 km. Alors, on vous invite à participer en grand nombre. As part of the Entraide Outaouais campaign, there's a run and walk event that's being organized to raise funds for Centraide Outaouais. The event is going to take place this Sunday, October 20th in Campbell's Bay at the on the bike path of the PPJ, so near the Park Morris Beauregard. There'll be a 2-kilometer, a 5-kilometer, and a 10-kilometer route, and I believe it's with Sûreté du Québec.
Sûreté Quebec is actually, okay, wonderful. That's great. That's great. So hopefully we'll get a good turnout for that. Their event. Okay. 18.2, recreational hockey. For information, Kim.
Mon dernier point, the last point for information. I hope lots of parents are listening out there because the hockey, les inscriptions, the sign up is open right now for hockey. In Fort Collonges would be on the 24th of November, 22nd of December, 26th of January, 23rd of February. And in Shawville, it's the 10th of November, 8th of December, 12th of January, 9th of February. At the time at both arenas is 9 till 10 a.m. It's $85 for the 4 days in Shawville or Fort College, or $155 for all 8 of them. So please sign up. Les inscriptions sont ouvertes pour le hockey récréatif à Fort College et à Shawville. Alors, on vous invite à vous inscrire en grand nombre. Merci. Si vous voulez des détails additionnels, vous pouvez communiquer avec Daniel Bourque à la MRC. If you want additional information for the recreational hockey, you can contact Daniel Bourque at the MRC.
Thank you. 18.3 Waste Management Committee, Jennifer Quayle.
Thank you. This follows up on the discussion that we had on Wednesday when our warden announced that the Waste Management Committee would be abolished. I feel very strongly that that's a mistake. I feel that it should be given a clear mandate and be given legitimacy, just as other committees that are struck by the table of mayors. We have unfinished work. 18 representatives from each of the municipalities have been active on this committee since early 2022. And there are some exceptional people there who are quite knowledgeable about waste management and committed to actually taking action and bringing forward, simple, cost-efficient ways to the table of mayors to consider for what we can do to reduce what we send to landfill. It's an important issue for those members, and it's also important for the people of Pontiac. I have had questions of late since the word is out that this has happened, and people are asking me what is happening. Like, it's the waste management is an important issue. So I think that we really should have this committee reinstated, given a proper mandate, and let us do our work. It doesn't have to be all 18. If there's concern that not all 18 don't show up, of course they don't. All 18 don't show up for every meeting. But I think if done well, we could have 5, 6 people, a manageable committee size with the most committed people who have the time and energy and creativity to come up with some good ideas. And it's more manageable. I think the options that we can present, I think that it's very manageable and not too costly for anyone.
Thank you. So just to clarify one thing, the warden did not abolish a committee. It was always a working committee, which when I heard Thierry Rambo back in 2022 and Carrie Richardson expressing a bit of frustration trying to meet with all 18 municipalities, it was difficult. So it was my idea to just strike a working committee, which did not was not originally to be mayors or DGs. It was the counselor on each of the 18 councils who was assigned to waste. And actually, I took the lead from our representatives, Carrie Richardson and our new person, Nina, who felt that at this point, so much work has been accomplished. They know exactly now where you all are. And that at this point, Nina's really working quickly and well, and she prefers to just work with the DGs and the mayors. And so we never did vote on this committee. Its mandate was just, as I've outlined, a working committee. And so my point, not that I was abolishing anything, was that it had fulfilled its purpose. And Carrie and Nina expressed that to me and said at this point, it's time consuming for them and that they did not wish to proceed with the committee any longer. And so I expressed this to the mayors at the plenary meeting. And now you're having 4 meetings at least a year with your director generals. And I know that waste management is always a big part of the agenda. And at our plenary meetings, we're getting regular reports. And Nina now feels that she can, speak directly with you and with the DG. So my best advice on this is that I'm very pleased with the work that took place, that it accomplished its purpose, and that we have a lot of committees. We still will be making more committees, By the way, we do have 5 mayors on a committee called the Environment Committee. It hasn't been that active, but that is something we could be more active with. Yeah, so that's just my feeling. Okay, so thank you.
Right. I have a draft resolution prepared so that I would like to present to have the table of mayors convinced and assured that this is good work. It's necessary work to be done, and we can do it. I understand that the administrative role, and with all due respect to Nina and her team, and Carrie and her environment team, and Nina's work as well. That's a lot. We have nothing to do with the tech agreement and the technical details. Are they great to have at the table? For sure, because they can answer any technical questions we may have. But I really feel, and their opinion is that this committee has served its purpose. That's what you're saying. I think all of the committee members were not consulted on this at all. I found out at plenary. So I think that it would have been good to have
feedback, just to say, Jennifer, from a number of committee members who, when they were told that it will no longer be continuing, all thought that was a very good idea. And I was sorry to see that your colleague Rick Bradshaw wrote in the Equity, which I just read before the meeting tonight, and he was really critical of Nina as the chair, and didn't think that Nina was pushing her way. You know, we need someone who will push us to get going on our waste management. And I think that's what's happening now. And now we have to let her do her work. So I think if you want to have further discussion, we can discuss it at the next plenary meeting. That would be my suggestion. Okay. So unless there's any more discussion, yes, Odie?
I was on that committee. I got, the only thing different that I liked about that committee was I got some ideas that aren't part of the MRC. Like we talked about several different things. I kind of enjoyed going to those meetings because we started doing things in Waltham, not that we do much, but I have gotten into a lot of trying to save garbage, and it's been coming down every year. I don't know if you've noticed. And the store that we opened, and I just like getting ideas. Does it have to be, can it be in conjunction with Nina, like not necessarily the same? Does that make sense?
But just listening to you, we know we have a lot of very engaged and knowledgeable people, citizens in the entire Pontiac. And maybe what we could discuss at the next plenary would be something where, you know, like a bit of a think tank, or where people who have ideas can bring them forward. What became a bit controversial at our last meeting is that certain members wanted to be able to make their recommendations to you. And that was never the purpose of the committee. And everything has to be voted on, not at that committee as we move forward, but by the mayors, right? So that we're the elected people, we're the ones that need to vote on policies or resolutions or directions that we're going to go. Yeah, so maybe there's a way that we can still have some creative input. Yes, Doris?
I have a quick question, really. This committee that's been formed, I didn't follow it because I assumed when you have a council member, that's fine. And I do think that they were doing good work, but there's something that I'm a little confused about. If this committee stays, it can be lay people, it can be councillors. You said they wouldn't present to the council of mayors. What's stopping them for one of them elected to come and make a presentation at our plenary? It would have nothing to do with Nina. If she liked the ideas, maybe council would implement it. Could that not be done?
I think it's something we can discuss together, you know, as a group. Without Nina here or Carrie, I was just representing their clear decision that the purpose was to see where you all were in your waste management, and now they have that information, and now they want to move forward. And more than anything, they're really focusing on how we can be reimbursed for composting and recycling. And some of the ideas that were coming forward would not have allowed that reimbursement from the provincial government. And now we've got the EEQ and everything else. So, sorry.
Yeah, I'd just like to say to Pro Mayor Quayle that your good work is noticed. And I think it's a good thing that you guys are doing that. We need to have more interest in reducing our waste and recycling and doing all that properly. But we also got to make sure that the staff members at the MRC are focusing on their mandate, which is also given down through the province itself with the EQ. So we can't be putting, in my opinion, we can't be putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. But there's no reason, in my another opinion, is there's no reason why that a committee of some sorts, as Mayor Ranger suggested, still go on. The crux of that is how much resources does the MRC willing to to provide for that. Now, if those types of committees would like to spend some time, this is just a suggestion, those types of committees like to spend some time working towards that, and then we can discuss it again at plenary, like the warden said, how much of the those resources from the MRC should go allocated to follow along with that. So that's my opinion on that.
Okay, everyone. So at this point, we can have a resolution to close the meeting. Moved by Odie Godin. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carried.